And they'll reset. Nowitzki again for the lead. Bang!
All right, Mavs fans, so obviously I didn't plan on doing 2 videos today, but here we are because we got some breaking news. 3 Dallas Mavericks are listed out due to health and safety protocols related to COVID-19. Dorian Finney-Smith, Josh Richardson, and Jalen Brunson are all set to miss at least the next 7 days. Not 7 games, but 7 days. So I'm going to break down what that means for the Dallas Mavericks. Obviously, those 3 will not be available for the game against the Orlando Magic tomorrow night, which I previewed in my earlier video, which you can actually see going on right here, right over my left shoulder. But now things are changing and those 3 will not be available. It's not reported which one actually has COVID, which one has tested positive, but one of them has. And then they all got docked for COVID tracing, or contact tracing, I should say. Now, one interesting note, as the Orlando Magic wrapped up their game against the Houston Rockets, they lost 132-90. Mo Bamba ended up getting hurt in that game. He left the game. He played 13 minutes. He scored 12 points and had 7 rebounds. By far his best game with the Magic this year, and he had to play due to other injuries, but then he ends up getting hurt, so he will likely not be playing in the Mavericks game tomorrow night. Evan Fournier was questionable going into the game against the Rockets. He didn't end up playing due to back spasm, so I would expect him to play tomorrow against the Mavs, but he's still questionable. And then Aaron Gordon, of course, as I mentioned in my preview, did not play in the Houston game. He is probable for the Mavs game against the Magic. The Orlando starting 5 tonight was Cole Anthony, Dwayne Bacon, Gary Clark, James Ennis, and Nikola Vucevic. Orlando lost 132-90, and Vuce played 30 minutes. Cole Anthony and Dwayne Bacon both played 28 minutes, and Gary Clark played 31 minutes. But obviously you guys are here for the COVID-19 news, and we're going to talk more about it. Now, here's an interesting thing. Whoever did test positive will have to go at least 10 days after his first positive test, which was today, January 8th, or he'll have to test negative twice, 24 hours apart, in order to be cleared to play once again. Now, for the other 2, no matter if they test negative or positive, they will have to sit out at least 7 days, and that's really kind of significant because you look at the games the Mavs play over the next 7 days. Saturday, January 9th, that is tomorrow, they'll play against the Orlando Magic. Monday, January 11th, they'll play against the New Orleans Pelicans, so those 2 games you will not have either or any of Dorian Finney-Smith, Josh Richardson, or Jalen Brunson. And then Wednesday, January 13th, they play at Charlotte. Now, Charlotte's not that great, but they did beat us once already, and, you know, could be another potential problem, but they could also have Kristaps Porzingis back by then. Friday, January 15th at the Milwaukee Bucks. That would be the 7th day. So whoever the 2 that didn't test positive are, they could potentially return against the Milwaukee Bucks on January 15th. Or, since that's the 7th day, I'm not really sure exactly how it works, you could see them January 17th against the Chicago Bulls. I mentioned that was a 2 p.m. game, an afternoon game for the Dallas Mavericks on January 17th. That's a good note because January 18th, that is the first night of a back-to-back. They will go and play the Toronto Raptors at Toronto, which is actually at Tampa this year, at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. So they'll have an afternoon game on Sunday. They'll turn around and play on Monday at 6:30. And at least one of those guys is going to be out, whichever the one is that tested positive, or unless maybe he has 2 negative tests 24 hours apart, we could see that guy back in the lineup. And then Wednesday, January 20th, that would be the 12th day after. I just wanted to note it. They play at the Indiana Pacers. So I will say this. It's super frustrating because really 2 of your 5 starters, maybe 1 of 5, depending on what you do with Dorian Finney-Smith, is going to be out for at least 7 days. That's 3 role players at least. Your 2 best perimeter defenders by far in Dorian Finney-Smith and Josh Richardson, both sitting out. Your backup point guard, Jalen Brunson, he's going to have to sit out. And now we're going to have to see what the rotation does. Now, in Orlando, they're going to be spread very thin. Kristaps Porzingis is out. Josh Richardson, Dorian Finney-Smith, Jalen Brunson, all out. And Trey Burke is questionable due to illness. Now, I think Trey Burke will end up coming back because I think him being upgraded the day before is probably a good sign. We'll wait and we'll get those game notes tomorrow and find out if he gets upgraded at all. And if he is, great. But the only players we know for sure are going to be available for that Orlando game, Luka Doncic, Tim Hardaway Jr., Maxi Kleber, Willie Cauley-Stein, Dwight Powell, James Johnson, Boban Marjanovic, Wesley Iwundu, Josh Green, Tyrell Terry, Nate Hinton, and Tyler Bey. So 4 rookies, 1 guy that is on a minimum contract in Wesley Iwundu, and then Boban, Powell, Cauley-Stein, Maxi, all power forward / centers, and then James Johnson, another big man your guard depth and your wing depth is really, really lacking. And this isn't a situation that I really wanted to throw the rookies in, but now's a chance for them to get to step up and shine. Josh Green's going to have to step up big time. He's going to have to play perimeter defense. He's going to have to play, I think he'll play a good chunk. I think Wesley Iwundu will too. And you know, the Mavs said once they signed him, they said, hey, don't sleep on Wesley Iwundu. So we're going to see what he's made of against his old team, the Orlando Magic. I would like to see Tyler Bey get some minutes. I think Tyler Bey deserves some minutes in place of Dorian Finney-Smith because I think he's the Dorian Finney-Smith kind of prototype or archetype, whatever you want to call him, and in the same build as him, and he plays a similar position where he can play the 3 or the 4. I think Tyler Bey, your two-way guy, could get some work. Nate Hinton is going to go hard. You'll see that as well. Maybe you see all of them play, or maybe you don't. Now, your starting five is going to look a lot different as well. I think 3 guys are probably set in stone. Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, and Willie Cauley-Stein, at least until those guys that are missing time end up coming back into the picture. But I think the guys that you could see kind of shuffle around or be in the mix, Tim Hardaway Jr., who could start or come off the bench, Trey Burke could start or come off the bench, and Wesley Iwundu. I think Wesley Iwundu could get some real minutes as a veteran guy. I mean, veteran, he's a young guy, but he's been around the league. He's a true professional. So I think your 2 lineups are going to be one of these 2 you see tomorrow night. Now, I could be totally wrong. Maybe Josh Green gets the start. We'll just have to wait and see. But tomorrow night's starting 5 could either be Luka Doncic, Tim Hardaway Jr., Wesley Iwundu, Maxi Kleber, and Willie Cauley-Stein, or Luka Doncic, Trey Burke, Tim Hardaway Jr., Maxi Kleber, and Willie, if you want to go a little bit smaller. But you look at your main guys off the bench, I mean, your 5 off the bench are going to be Tyrell Terry, Josh Green, James Johnson, Dwight Powell, and maybe Iwundu. This rotation is going to look a lot different. It's going to be a lot of young guys, a lot of guys that haven't played a lot of basketball with this team. Now, listen, I wouldn't be surprised if we go really small on the rotation and it's maybe an 8-man rotation where you only bring in, you know, the 5 starters plus Johnson, Powell, and then one of Wes or Josh Green. I don't know. But in all honesty, if this is a game with Orlando where they're plagued with injuries as well, give the rookies some time. I want to see what Tyler Bey can do. I want to see what Nate Hinton can do. I want to see what Tyrell Terry can do. I know kind of what Josh Green can do, but we didn't get a whole lot of them, and I'd like to see him get some minutes with Luka as well. Look, this team's going to look a lot different, and it's going to be kind of a frustrating patch of games, but I will say this. You've got 3 teams that I still believe you can beat without, you know, Dorian, Josh Richardson, and Jalen Brunson. Orlando, I think they're a beatable team. Do I think we should go out there and slaughter them like they just got slaughtered by the Houston Rockets? No. I think it'll be a closer game than that. The New Orleans Pelicans, they just got beat by the Charlotte Hornets tonight in a terrible fashion. They haven't looked that good this year on defense. I think that's a beatable team, and Kristaps Porzingis could be back for that one. And then they play at Charlotte. That's a team the Mavs already lost to, but that means there's a little familiarity there, and maybe they can figure out what went wrong. And again, maybe Porzingis is back. And if Porzingis comes back within this stretch of not having those 3 guys, you're looking really, really strong with Luka, KP, Tim Hardaway in the lineup with Maxi, maybe Willie, maybe Wes Iwundu, maybe Josh Green proves himself over this time. Look, this is going to suck. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Not having that perimeter defense of Josh Richardson and Dorian Finney-Smith or Jalen Brunson's playmaking off the bench, it's going to totally suck. It's going to hurt the Mavs a lot. But also, we're going to get a chance to see what these young guys can do, what this depth of wings can do, and maybe Rick Carlisle gets a little creative with the lineups, and we get to see exactly what Rick is made of when it comes to playing with a short deck, or a small deck, I should say. I still predict a win for the Dallas Mavericks against the Magic because, again, they're going to be without a ton of players in this one. Markelle Fultz is gone. Obviously, Chuma Okeke, Al-Farouq Aminu, Jonathan Isaac, now Mo Bamba, potentially Evan Fournier. I think Aaron Gordon will play. It's a lot of prominent players for the Magic. So we're going to take this one game at a time. Before each game, don't worry, I'll have a pregame kind of preview for you guys. And then after every game, as always, I'll have the postgame wrap-up as well. Look, it's an unfortunate situation. I'm going to miss all of those guys quite a bit. But hey, maybe the rookies step up and maybe someone shows us something that we never expected. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, and get in the comment section down below. And as always, go Mavs, baby.